In the late 1990s, Sony had established a near monopoly on high-end living room entertainment. The PlayStation brand gave the company exclusive access to the television set, creating a closed ecosystem that Microsoft software couldn't touch. At the time, Windows dominated the home office, but PC gaming was physically isolated. Connecting a beige desktop tower to a living room TV was a niche, cumbersome process that left the most profitable part of the house entirely in Sony's hands. This threat sparked an internal conflict in Redmond. On Valentine's Day in 2000, a small team led by Seamus Blackley and Kevin Bacchus met with Bill Gates to pitch the DirectX Box, a proposal to move the Windows gaming architecture into a console. The team pitched the project as a Trojan horse. By modifying Windows, they could bring the flexibility and power of a PC into the living room, masquerading as a traditional gaming console. Microsoft's entry into the market was a defensive maneuver designed to protect the DirectX software ecosystem. They needed a presence in the living room to ensure that Sony's proprietary hardware didn't eventually render the Windows gaming platform obsolete. The original Xbox arrived in 2001, weighing nearly 8 pounds. It was significantly larger and heavier than its contemporaries, looking more like a piece of high-end server equipment than a toy. This size was a necessity for the hardware. Microsoft decided to use a 733 MHz Intel Pentium 3 processor and an NVIDIA NV20 graphics chip, standard desktop components that they had to heavily modify and cool within a compact plastic shell. While the oversized Duke controller was met with mixed reviews, the hardware's capabilities were undeniable. Titles like Halo Combat Evolved showcased graphical fidelity and physics that surpassed what was typically possible on consoles at the time. The inclusion of a built-in Ethernet port allowed Microsoft to launch Xbox Live in 2002. By standardizing high-speed internet access, they brought dedicated servers, universal voice chat, and unified friend lists to the television, features previously reserved for the high-end PC market. This approach of using PC-derived parts and broadband networking shifted the competitive landscape. Within a generation, competitors began adopting similar x86-based architectures and robust online services to match the standardized features Microsoft introduced. In 2005, the Xbox 360 launched with a much smaller, concave profile. It arrived a full year before the PlayStation 3, allowing Microsoft to capture the early HD market and become the primary platform for high-definition titles. To achieve this performance, Microsoft used the custom IBM Xenon processor. This chip featured 3 symmetrical cores running at 3.2 GHz, providing the parallel processing power required to render the complex shaders and lighting of the 720p era. However, the push for power led to a catastrophic hardware failure known as the Red Ring of Death. The heat generated by the Xenon processor, combined with a lead-free soldering process, caused the motherboard to flex during thermal cycles, eventually breaking the connections. Microsoft issued a global recall and repair program that cost the company $1.15 billion. During the repair crisis, they began a pivot toward digital distribution through Xbox Live Arcade, diversifying their revenue beyond physical disc sales. The 360 era demonstrated that Microsoft could lead the industry in software services and graphical power, but the billion-dollar repair bill highlighted the extreme financial risks inherent in maintaining proprietary hardware. The brand's momentum stalled in 2013 with the Xbox One. The reveal event focused heavily on cable television integration and voice commands, while the initial policies regarding mandatory internet check-ins and restricted game trading caused an immediate backlash from core players. Including the Kinect 2.0 sensor as a mandatory bundle increased the retail price to $499, making it $100 more expensive than the competition. The sensor also reserved a portion of the system's processing power for background tasks, leaving less for actual game performance. Following these setbacks, Phil Spencer was named head of Xbox in 2014. He recognized that the hardware-centric model was failing and began shifting the division's focus toward long-term software value. Spencer's team prioritized a massive backward compatibility program, making hundreds of older titles playable on new machines. This effort culminated in the 2017 launch of Xbox Game Pass, a subscription model that shifted the platform's focus from individual hardware sales to a recurring service library. The failure of the Xbox One launch forced Microsoft to reconsider its goals. They stopped viewing the console as the only way to access the brand and started building a software environment that could survive on any device. For the 2020 generation, Microsoft returned to high-end engineering with the Xbox Series X. Its monolithic design was built around cooling efficiency, allowing it to house much more powerful components than the previous generation. The Series X delivers 12 teraflops of performance, but its most significant feature is the Velocity architecture. This integrates a custom NVMe SSD, streaming assets into memory at 2.4 gigabytes per second. The smaller Series S uses this exact same Velocity architecture and NVMe storage, ensuring both consoles run the same library. These machines serve as physical access points for the broader Microsoft ecosystem. They are designed as the most efficient way to play the Game Pass library, but they are no longer the only way to do so. For Microsoft, the metrics of success have shifted. The platform is now measured by recurring revenue and active subscribers across all devices, meaning the Xbox brand is no longer tethered to the sales performance of a single piece of hardware. Today, the Game Pass library is available on Windows PCs, handheld devices like the ROG Ally, and smart TVs via cloud streaming. Microsoft is reaching millions of players who may never own a traditional Xbox console, but who participate in the ecosystem through other hardware. Future hardware plans indicate a further blurring of these lines. Microsoft is increasingly designing its consoles to function with the openness of a PC, potentially allowing for more modular software environments and wider cross-platform integration. 20 years after that Valentine's Day meeting to pitch a Windows-based console, Microsoft has completed the transition. They have moved past the era of the exclusive plastic box and successfully turned any screen with an internet connection into a portal for the Xbox library.